There are moments, fleeting, silent, when the soul hears something deeper than thought, something ancient and luminous that the mind cannot name. In that stillness, if you listen not with ears but with presence, you might catch the soft echo of the divine whispering three words, not random, not invented, but gifted. Words not to be spoken aloud, but to be embodied, lived, breathed into reality. You didn't stumble upon this message by chance. You were called. You were drawn here because your vibration is ready to rise, because something inside you has long suspected that there is a hidden force, subtle yet sovereign, that shapes your reality not from the outside but from within. And now you are remembering, these three words are not a secret. They are encoded in the very structure of your being. They do not belong to any religion, yet they pulse at the heart of every sacred tradition. They are not a mantra to repeat, but a frequency to become. When you feel them, not just think them, your field begins to shift. The universe listens, and life as you know it rearranges. Close your eyes not just to shut out the world, but to awaken the one within. Breathe slowly. Let each breath invite you into the unknown space behind your thoughts. Here, language falls away. Only energy remains. And in this energy, a transmission occurs. The first word arrives not as sound but as a sensation, the second as memory, the third as pure light. Together, they are the doorway. This is not magic. It is alignment, not desire, resonance. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And these three words are keys, not to gain more, but to remember that you already are everything you seek. So now, let your awareness soften. Let your heart begin to listen. Not to me, but to what pulses underneath these words. You are not learning, you are remembering. If these words have already touched your soul, subscribe to the channel and share in the comments. What vibration do you feel now within you? Now, let us continue. Before the universe was named, before stars ignited, there was only awareness, pure, infinite, untouched. And in that timeless silence, the first vibrations stirred, not as sound, but as beingness, the recognition of existence. The knowing without a knower, I am. This is the first word God gave you, not as language, but as identity. It is not a sentence, it is a state. It is the root of all creation, the point from which every reality expands. When you speak I am, you activate the divine force within you that creates worlds, not with effort, but with presence. Most people use I am as a label. I am tired. I am not enough. I am afraid. These are not just statements, they are energetic commands. You program the field around you with every I am. But when you reclaim this word in its original purity, free from fear, free from identity, you become aligned with Source, not separate from it, not beneath it, but one with it. Close your eyes again. Breathe in softly. As you exhale, whisper inside, I am. Not I am something, just I am. Let it echo without form. Let it dissolve all roles, all definitions, all masks. What remains is not emptiness. It is presence. It is power. It is peace. This word realigns your frequency. It returns you to the center. It reminds you that you are not the storm but the sky, not the wave but the ocean. Every manifestation, every synchronicity, every attraction begins here, not with effort but with being. Let this become your inner posture, not a phrase to repeat endlessly, but a sacred awareness to return to. In doubt, in joy, in confusion, in clarity, I am. And when you truly feel this word, the universe bows in recognition, for it sees itself in you. You do not need to be more. You only need to remember what you already are. And I am is the gateway. It is the first pulse of creation, the divine breath made visible through your consciousness. Now, breathe it in once more, not as affirmation, but as revelation. Once you remember I am, the next word unfolds like a petal opening to the light. Receive. Not in the sense of waiting passively, but in the sacred act of allowing. Allowing the infinite to move through you, to bless you, to awaken within you what was never truly lost. You were not created to beg the universe. You were not meant to chase. You were designed to receive, to stand open, tuned and ready. Yet so many block the flow, not out of malice but out of habit, out of fear, out of the illusion that one must earn love, prove worth, or struggle for abundance. But receiving is not weakness, it is divine trust. It is the feminine aspect of creation, the womb of manifestation. It is surrender not as defeat, but as alignment. When you receive, you do not shrink, you expand. You become a conduit for the divine intention already destined for you. Sit now with this word, receive. Let it echo gently within you. Can you feel the resistance arise? The voice that says, "I'm not ready, I don't deserve it." That voice is not you. It is a shadow programmed by a world that forgot its light. It is time to remember. Breathe deeply. Imagine the top of your head opening like a lotus. Let yourself be filled, not with thoughts, but with presence. Imagine light descending, not from above, but from within. A golden stream of clarity, love, wisdom, abundance. Can you receive it as without questioning it? When you fully receive, you no longer vibrate with lack. You become one with the frequency of fulfillment. Life stops being a chase and becomes a dance. The more you allow, the more flows to you, naturally, effortlessly, abundantly. And so this second word, receive, is not a command, but an invitation. To stop grasping, to release the armor, to let the divine find you where you are, not where you think you should be. Say it gently now, not with your lips, but with your heart. Receive. Feel what changes in you, what softens, what opens, because everything you seek is already seeking you. After I am, after receive, there is only one natural expression left. Radiate. This is the flowering, the return. The moment the divine presence within you overflows and touches everything around you, not through effort, but through essence. To radiate is not to project. It is not performance, it is resonance. It is what happens when you become so full of source, so aligned with truth, that light cannot help but spill from your presence. It enters the room before you speak. It lingers after you leave. The universe does not respond to what you say. It responds to what you radiate. Every intention, every thought, every breath carries frequency. And when your being is lit with love, gratitude, clarity, you become magnetic. You no longer attract through force, you attract through vibration. Now breathe in deeply. Feel your chest expand, not just with air, but with awareness, with remembering, with energy. As you exhale, imagine waves of light pouring from you, not imagined, but real. This is not fantasy. This is physics. This is consciousness embodied. To radiate is to serve without trying, to inspire without words, to heal without touching. And it is not something you do. It is what you are when the veil of forgetting dissolves, when you stop contracting in fear and start expanding in love. You have met people who radiate this, maybe only for a moment. Their presence stays with you, not because of what they said, but because of what they are. That same radiance lives in you, dormant perhaps, but never absent. The key is not to chase the light, but to become it, and that becomes inevitable when you remember I am, when you learn to receive and then allow yourself to radiate, not selectively, not conditionally, but in every room, every silence, every act. Say it now inside. Radiate. Feel how the word moves differently than the others. It doesn't sink inward, it expands outward. It wants to touch, to share, to illuminate. Let it, because your light was never meant to stay hidden. It was meant to awaken others simply by existing. Now stand softly in that truth. You are no longer seeking, you are shining. Now that the three words have been unveiled, I am, receive, radiate, a new understanding begins to emerge. These are not steps, but states. Not concepts to analyze, but frequencies to become. They are not goals to reach, but truths to embody. You attract not by wishing, not by forcing, not even by visualizing alone, but by becoming the energetic match of what already exists on a higher plane. You are not summoning anything. You are aligning with what has always been present, just beyond the veil of resistance. So ask yourself, what do I radiate most of the time? Is it presence or projection? Is it faith or fear? The universe mirrors your internal frequency with divine precision, not as punishment, but as feedback. You do not receive what you think. You receive what your nervous system believes is safe to hold. This is where the real work begins: inner safety, nervous system regulation, trusting the unknown, returning to coherence. Because unless your body feels safe to receive abundance, love, peace, you will unconsciously block it, even as you pray for it. Sit in stillness now. Feel your breath. Listen to your body. Not your thoughts, not your desires, but your felt sense. Where is their contraction? Where is their openness? These are signals. Your frequency is not only thought, it is sensation, emotion, cellular memory. Let these words move deeper now. I am, reclaiming your divine origin. Receive, allowing the river to flow through you. Radiate, becoming the light that transforms your world. Feel how each word brings you closer, not to something new, but to your most ancient truth. You are not becoming more. You are removing what is not you, layers of doubt, of conditioning, of scarcity. As these dissolve, what remains is the pure frequency of your soul, steady, luminous, magnetic. So begin each day with this silent attunement. Sit, breathe, speak within. I am, I receive, I radiate. Then listen, not with your ears, but with your life. Notice what shifts, what opens, what flows to you without strain. Because manifestation is not attraction, it is revelation of what you already hold inside. When you embody I am, receive and radiate, something subtle yet profound begins to stir around you. Life no longer feels random. Coincidences become frequent. Doors open without knocking. People, moments and insights arrive not by chance but by resonance. This is the field remembering you. You are not alone in your intention. The universe too is alive with intention. A vast field of intelligence surrounds you, waiting, always waiting, for your signal. Not your words, not your rituals, but your authentic frequency. When you align with your essence, the field aligns with you. This is the sacred mirror. You've felt it before. Moments where everything clicked, where time bent and clarity pierced through confusion like light through fog. These were not anomalies, they were glimpses of what's always available when you are fully here, awake, unguarded, coherent. The field doesn't respond to noise, it responds to coherence, to clarity, to truth. And when you live the truth of I am, you become a beacon. When you receive, you expand the signal. When you radiate, you shape reality. The field is not static, it dances with you. Now breathe again, slower. Bring to mind a recent synchronicity, a moment that felt guided, perhaps subtle, perhaps undeniable. That was the field speaking back to you, affirming your path, whispering yes and keep going. When we speak of attracting everything, we are not speaking of accumulating objects. We are speaking of alignment with purpose, with timing, with soul contracts and unseen threads of destiny. The field is always orchestrating, but you must become still enough to hear its rhythm. Live like everything is listening, because it is, the tree, the air, the space between thoughts. Your words don't just echo in your mind, they ripple through creation. Speak only what you are ready to live. Think only what you are ready to receive. Radiate only what you are ready to expand. You are not creating alone, you never were. You are in partnership with life itself. So now, as your vibration settles deeper into truth, listen. What is life whispering back to you? It remembers who you are, and it's waiting for you to remember too. True transformation is not dramatic, it is quiet, subtle. It occurs not when the world around you changes, but when your internal architecture begins to shift. When your nervous system, your breath, your thoughts, your emotions, all begin to harmonize with the frequency of your soul. This is recalibration. The three divine words, I am, receive, radiate, are not just spiritual poetry. They are tuning forks. Each one strikes a chord deep within your energetic body. They bring incoherence into coherence. They remind your cells of a song they've always known but forgotten in the noise of the world. At first, this shift feels internal, invisible, but with time, your outer reality can no longer resist the new signal you emit. People respond to you differently. Opportunities seem to find you. The right words come without planning. This is not luck. It is resonance manifesting in form. But recalibration requires consistency. You cannot dip in and out of alignment and expect sustained change. This is not about perfection, but devotion. A return again and again to the inner compass. Not through force, but through remembrance. Take a moment now. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the rhythm there, not just of a muscle, but of life flowing through you. Whisper silently, I am. Pause. Receive. Pause. Radiate. Let each word land like a stone in a still lake. Watch the ripples move through your awareness. This practice is not mental, it is vibrational. It cannot be rushed, it requires presence. The more you offer yourself to this inner refinement, the more the outer world reflects your clarity. You stop reacting, you start responding from the soul. Your desires become cleaner, your boundaries become softer but stronger. You no longer chase love, you become it. You no longer plead for abundance, you embody it. You no longer seek answers, you radiate knowing. This is the sacred alchemy. The unseen shift, and once it begins, it cannot be undone. You are changing, not by adding, but by shedding, not by climbing, but by returning. So allow the recalibration, trust its rhythm, and know what is falling away was never truly you. At some point in your journey, the path becomes quiet. The signs pause, the synchronicities slow, doubt begins to whisper. This is the threshold. The moment where the unseen asks, will you trust what you cannot yet see? Creation begins in the invisible. Everything you've ever manifested was once an unformed energy, a silent intention resting in the womb of the unknown. The divine doesn't move at the speed of desire. It moves at the rhythm of trust. Your task is not to control the timeline, but to stay attuned to the vibration. The words I am, receive, and radiate require a deeper commitment now, not just to say them, but to embody them when the evidence has not yet arrived. This is where many abandon the path. They return to striving, pushing, doubting. But those who remain still, those who trust, witness miracles born from silence. Trust is not passive, it is the most potent form of action. It is choosing peace over panic. It is holding your frequency steady, while the outer world tests your alignment. It is the spiritual maturity to say, even if I see nothing changing, I know everything is. And it is in this space, this quiet, sacred space, that the universe does its most precise work, adjusting timelines, rearranging paths, preparing the exact resonance for your intention to land. You cannot rush alignment, you can only deepen it. So how do you remain anchored? Through presence, through breath, through remembering that your value is not determined by results, but by your beingness. When you live from the energy of your prayer, not the lack of it, you signal trust. Breathe again, feel the ground beneath you. Nothing is missing, nothing is broken. You are in the middle of a divine unfolding. Let these three words become your compass. I am, grounded. Receive, open. Radiate, unwavering. If the invisible feels empty, it's only because it's so full of potential, your senses cannot yet translate it. So rest, trust, and know. Even now, the miracle is forming. You came here searching for three words to attract everything. But in truth, what you found was yourself. Not the self conditioned by time and memory, but the eternal one, the essence beneath identity, the quiet presence behind your eyes. I am. Receive. Radiate. These are not just words, they are dimensions of your being. Together they form a portal, not one to walk through, but one to become. You are the threshold. You are the opening through which the divine expresses itself into form. When you live from I am, you become rooted. When you receive, you become open. When you radiate, you become infinite. This is the geometry of creation, the architecture of vibration, the trinity of manifestation flowing through a single vessel, you. And now the question is no longer what can I attract? It becomes what am I ready to hold? The more you clear, the more you calm, the more you remember, the more space you create for life to flow through you, untouched by fear, unblocked by doubt. Sit now in stillness one last time. Close your eyes. Inhale with I am. Exhale with receive. Inhale again with radiate. Let the words disappear. Let only their energy remain. Feel yourself become less solid, less defined, and in that formlessness, you find your true shape. No longer separate from the whole, but the whole remembering itself through your breath, your hands, your presence. This is the secret, the treasure, the truth hidden in plain sight. You already are everything you seek. The world will still move around you. Contrast will still arise, but your center will remain unmoved because you are no longer reacting, you are creating. You are no longer chasing, you are emanating, and everything that matches your frequency will come. So rise now, not as someone improved, but as someone revealed. Let your life become the expression of these three sacred vibrations. And as you walk forward, remember, you are not on the path, you are the path. Now go become it.